All right, listen. Welcome to the selection show episode of this week's Threes on Fire podcast. I'm here with Sadell. Listen, we are now on the East Regional part of the bracket. I was going to start off everything, giving you some time to, talk your shit, but they're blowing right through this thing right now.
I know, like
So let me get a pause on my television screen so we can catch everybody up. So they're announcing the East Region bracket. Duke clearly at 31-3 are the top seed in the East. They'll get to stay home playing in Raleigh, North Carolina for their first two matchups. They'll play the winner of American or Mount St. Mary's in I guess they call that the second round now, or whatever they call that now. They also in their bracket they have number 8 Mississippi State against number 9 Baylor. Oregon's the 5 seed, Liberty the 12, Arizona the 4, and Akron the 3. Listen, I'm just looking at y'all side of this bracket, man. This if y'all don't make it out of this part of the region, something's wrong. Something's seriously wrong. Like, I'm just looking at this side of the bracket. I mean, who? Oregon? That's who's going to give you guys a good game. Oregon.
I mean, you never know them Ducks, man.
Oh my goodness, that's unbelievable, man. Like y'all already what, the second best team in the country behind Auburn according to the way this is going, but y'all look like y'all they didn't give y'all a nice path, man.
They gave us a layup.
I
ain't even gonna lie.
Yo, I don't normally put Duke in the Final Four. I might be putting y'all in the Final Four this year, depending on how the rest of this bracket look. Right now,
let me look at these joints.
Arizona.
Hold on.
Hold on. I had to pause it, so I'm a little bit behind you. So,
okay.
I paused it so I could read off the bracket. At least y'all end of the bracket. So
no,
now we're on the.
I'm still just looking
you're
at.
Still okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I don't see it.
So-called tough teams in our bracket, and we ain't gonna have nothing to face until we face Alabama.
I don't.
And Alabama plays football, so and they
I
don't do that well. They don't do that well anymore either. So
this is looking real sketchy, man. They're going to the second part of the bracket, and
Alabama's gonna get knocked out by St. Mary's. St. Mary's gonna get them.
Can you still hear me?
You did. You faded for a quick second. What'd you say?
All right. No, I said so. Once we get through, see, you did kind of give it away.
What?
You did kind of give it away because they just, like on my screen, they just announced Alabama as the 2 in that region.
Oh, I am ahead of you. My bad.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to make sure that I pause the TV so I can go down the rest of the bracket. So the rest of the East Region bracket.
We'll go and get time in there.
Okay. All right. So on the East Region, now with the other 8 teams outside of Duke's side, you have BYU at 6 going against 11 VCU. Wisconsin, the 3 seed, they'll be taking on 14 Montana. St. Mary's, the 7, they'll play 10 Vanderbilt, and Alabama 2 will play Robert Morris, the 15 seed. Now, looking at this side, I mean, this is just reach in the bag and pull something out, because Vanderbilt doesn't scare me. St. Mary's is pretty good, but this is one of those games that could end up in a 10-7 upset. Wisconsin could be on upset alert against Montana, especially now that we've got all of these lower seeded teams getting beaten, or these lower seeded teams winning. And then you've got VCU 11 against BYU number 6. Like, you're looking at a possibility of 3 upsets on this side of the bracket in the East.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm not doing the conspiracy thing. I'm not going to do that, but I will say that, like, it's pretty laid out for Duke to make a championship run this year. And while we're on it, let's go back, because as we were trying to get on, the South region had been announced. Auburn's the 1 seed in the South. They'll play the winner of Alabama State and St. Francis in the opening round. Yeah, it doesn't matter. St. Francis will probably win that game, but yeah, they're going to get waxed. They're going to get waxed. Louisville, the 8 seed, right? Explain to me how they, in essence, get a home game in Lexington, Kentucky, as the 8 seed against Creighton. How does that happen? Like, how do you keep an 8 seed in their general region?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
now I know some. Now some people will say, you know, given that Lexington is where the University of Kentucky is, and they're a rival to Louisville, it shouldn't really be a home game for them. But they're still in state.
Yeah.
Like that so far, that is, outside of Duke's bracket looking like cupcakey, that's one of the ones that kind of like threw me off so far with the bracket release, that Louisville gets to stay in state as an 8 seed. And I can almost guarantee you, if it's Louisville versus Auburn in the second round, that's going to be a very Louisville heavy crowd in that building.
Very.
So Auburn may be the number 1 overall seed, but if they have to play Louisville in the second round, that's going to be a hostile environment for them. Also, you have Michigan at 5. They'll take on UC San Diego, and the 4 seed Texas A&M gets the 13 seed Yale. The rest of that bracket goes, if I can get to it. Okay, you have number 6 Ole Miss going up against either San Diego State or North Carolina in the first round. And this is interesting to me,
North Carolina,
because yes, and this is interesting to me because I did look at Joe Lunardi's bracketology before we came on the air. It was one of the first things I did before we started. He had San Diego State in, but North Carolina out. He had North Carolina out almost this entire weekend after they lost to Duke in the ACC tournament. How they got in with that resume, even having to do the play-in game against San Diego State, is surprising to me. I don't know how they got in. I didn't think that they were going to get in. I thought that they had to win that game against Duke to solidify that spot.
That's what I thought too.
And now I'm also wondering now with the rest of.
I was gonna say that's not even hating.
No,
I'm not.
No,
I'm just saying. I thought that's what they really had to do.
They don't have like I said, they don't have the resume. They don't have the resume. They have I think they had like 1 major win all season. So despite having a record that looks good enough to be in, it's a hollow record. And I don't see it. I really don't. So now I can cross North Carolina off because he got that one wrong. You also have the 3 seed Iowa State against 14 Lipscomb. Marquette is the 7 in the South. They'll play number 10 New Mexico, and Michigan State is the 2, and they'll take on 15th seeded Bryant, who is head coached by Phil Martelli Jr. So people here in the Philadelphia region should definitely recognize that name. Sadell, looking at the this bracket here harder for Auburn to get out of this bracket than it should be.
Harder
I
than
mean,
it
is
should
it
be?
harder than it should be?
I think this is a pretty fair bracket, except for I don't know. Yeah, it's tough, but it's not. I don't know.
It's
I
not
don't think
so
it's.
well. So far, I wouldn't call it. Well, I mean, we're only 2 brackets in. Like so,
Yeah, we
right
gotta get the
now,
other
yeah, it could be
brackets.
the toughest.
We gotta get the other
Uh,
brackets. It looks like a fair
uh,
enough bracket to me.
all right. So, who do you have? Who do you have in the South on upset alert?
Ah, probably Michigan State.
Okay. Listen,
Probably
I'm gonna
Michigan
say it
State.
again. Listen, I'm gonna say it again. I'll have Auburn on upset alert if Louisville gets to the second round.
I think that's one
Auburn
too. Because you said they're playing
in Kentucky.
in Kentucky.
In Kentucky. All
I was
right,
trying not to
so
do the same one, but
mhm.
yeah.
All right, so we're now on the first half of the bracket of the Midwest region. Number 1 seed is Houston. They'll play number 16 SIU Edwardsville. The hell is that? What the hell is SIU Edwardsville?
Who knows?
What is that? What is that? All right, then you get 8 seeded Gonzaga against number 9 Georgia, number 5 Clemson against number 12 McNeese, and number 4 Purdue against number 13 High Point. This side of the bracket already to me is just like McNeese, High Point, SIU Edwardsville. Like, all right.
Yeah, those would be big time shockers right there. Even though the 12s do be getting the 5s, so Clemson.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it. I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this Midwest region at all. Like this is going to be probably the region that destroys a bunch of brackets. You have the second side of the bracket. You have number 6 Illinois. They'll play the winner of number 11 Texas and Xavier. You have number 3 Kentucky against number 14 Troy. Number 7 UCLA against number 10 Utah State, and number 2 Tennessee will play the 15th seed Wofford. Like this is a bad bracket. I cannot get a read on this one. I can't.
I have no idea, but I'm confused as why Kentucky is a 3 seed.
Yeah, and then look at this. And then look at this. Kentucky is in Wisconsin. Kentucky is in Wisconsin. Louisville gets to play in Kentucky. Now I get it. You can't necessarily have them be an exact home team in Lexington, but how do they get that? How do they get that far away from home?
Yeah, I don't know. And they were there.
I mean,
3 seeds.
And then again, even with this, Illinois will play Texas or Xavier in Milwaukee. Illinois and Wisconsin are right next to each other. Like, again, this is how are they managing to put some of these teams in some of the places that they're putting them at? I get certain aspects of it. You definitely want your 1s and 2s close to home. They earned it. They deserve to be close to home.
That's true.
But how are you putting 8s and 9s close to home?
I have no idea. This is wild. So
Dell, I'm looking at it.
I'm trying to go. All right, with Kentucky, who's the 3 seed? The 3 seed in the East is Wisconsin. They play in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The South was Iowa State.
Yeah, the South was Iowa State.
I'm on the computer, right? So it don't say. I don't know why, but it don't say the South region where their locations are. The East region and the Midwest, it says their locations. What's
All right, hold on. I got you because I still have it on my TV, so I'm gonna just rewind back and I'll go to the. I'll wait till they pull up the full bracket and I'll tell you where everyone is at. So
okay, I appreciate that.
I know they gave a whole look at the entire thing besides these little like no they didn't. Now for everybody else they went full screen, right? You got to go full screen with it, okay? And come on. Okay, they did. Here we go, full screen. So Auburn, Alabama State, St. Francis winner, Louisville, Creighton, and I think that's it. They're in Kentucky. Yeah, they're in Lexington, Kentucky. Ole Miss and San Diego State, North Carolina winner. Iowa State and Lipscomb, they're in Milwaukee. Marquette, New Mexico, and Michigan State and Bryant, they're in Cleveland.
Wait, so Kentucky's in either way. So the other closest place would have been Denver so far in the East?
Yep.
And Wisconsin is closer to
or Cleveland.
The number 3 seed, and they got to go to Denver, but
yep,
they're closer to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they should have flipped those 3 seeds, Kentucky and Wisconsin.
And then it's looking like the other cities are. Where the hell are the other cities?
Okay, in the West, we have
Wichita. Yeah, Wichita, Kansas, and Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay.
All right, so where are we now? Yeah, but the Midwest region is looking like. Yeah, this is all
by seeding, like Tennessee, they get to play in Lexington. Is the 2 seed for that region locked in, or like that's where they supposed to play or something? Like
that's where they play. So that's where the first round. Well, the first parts are.
The only thing would have been is if they would have flipped Kentucky and Tennessee, but Tennessee, I'm assuming, won their. Did they?
No, they didn't. They did not. Florida won the Florida won the SEC tournament.
Oh well, I see now. That's why they the number 1 seed.
Yeah, and he had. I think Joe Lunardi had that. He got the number 1 seeds right. He had Auburn, Houston, Duke, Florida as the number 1 seeds.
Right.
All right, so I'm somewhat live, so I'll do it as they're going on. So number 1, Florida gets 16. Norfolk State in the West region. Number 8 is UConn. Number 9 is Oklahoma. Now I have not seen St. John's get announced yet, and St. John's won the Big East, so they're going to be in the West region. The question is, how far are they going to be ranked? Are they going to be like a 6 or a 7? Memphis is the 5. Memphis just won the American Conference, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Colorado State is the 12, and just looking at it, Oklahoma was on Joe Lunardi's in line. So far, North Carolina is the only one that he had out that's in right.
That is it, yeah.
All right, Maryland's the 4. All right, now they're going to show them celebrating. Maryland will get Grand Canyon, the 13 seed. Grand Canyon. Now, I thought Grand Canyon was an online school. I didn't realize it was an actual college. I'm serious.
We had them. They was in a tournament either. I think a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's when I realized that they were in actual school. All right, Missouri's the 6, and Missouri will play.
Come on, man. Make them
Drake. Well, Drake's been having a bad year.
Wow, yo. I'm a little bit ahead of you. You got a surprise coming up. I ain't gonna tell you.
I cannot believe. Well, it's Drake.
You gonna see. Because you was just talking about St. John's.
Texas Tech is the 3. All right. And Texas Tech gets UNCW. North Carolina Wilmington? Is that what that stands for?
It's probably Wilmington. Yeah. UNC Wilmington.
Okay.
Start having to write some.
All right. Kansas is a 7. Okay. Arkansas is the 10. Yeah, this is going almost exactly how he had it because he had Arkansas making it in. All right. Who's the 2?
You know,
St. John's is a 2?
There you go.
Whoa.
I told you. I told you it's going to be surprised and I ain't going to spoil it. And they get to play in Providence.
Yeah, that's not that far. That's not that bad of a trip against Omaha, the 15 seed. So, Joe Lunardi, as usual, pretty much on point. Again, like some of these teams that they just didn't do enough. I'm sorry, and I'm looking at this and. I'm going to say it again. North Carolina does not belong in. They don't. North Carolina does not belong in this tournament. I'm sorry. And John, I wish you were here because I know you're a North Carolina fan. The truth is the truth. I saw nothing from North Carolina that says they deserve to be in here.
Nah. Me either.
All right.
And again, I'm not hating. Man. Oh, this is a bad time for the ACC.
So I'm looking. Yeah, the ACC had a down year, man. It was
letting in the West Coast teams.
It was a down year for the ACC, a big year for the SEC, though.
The SEC killed it. 14 teams?
14 teams. And they were all, Joe Lunardi had 13 SEC teams getting in. So that's. So I'm looking at it again. The Midwest region, to me, is going to be the region where people's brackets get ruined. Just overall, like
the Midwest is like all over the place with their
Clemson's not safe against McNeese. That's one of those 12 versus 5 specials. Probably going to do a little more research on High Point. That could be a brewing upset. 8s and 9s are usually coin flips. Depending on who wins that Texas Xavier match, and there's the other team. There it is. He had Texas out as well. So Texas and North Carolina both get in, but they go to that play-in game.
Game. Yeah. So
but he did not have them in.
Earn their way in.
Yeah, but he didn't have them in. Like I don't want to say that Joe Lunardi is the end all be all when it comes to college basketball. But when it comes to the tournament, he's pretty much on point. And I think this may be one of a couple of years where he was wrong about 2 big time schools by name, right. Not being in that are in. And I get it. They added the whole extra team thing, and I'm sorry. They neither of these 2 teams belong in. Neither of them.
Yeah, I don't even think they deserve a shot.
But But again, at the same time, given the way that these brackets are, if North Carolina gets in,
they mess around and beat San Diego State.
Yeah, but they have no
beat Ole Miss.
Yeah, they'll beat Ole Miss. They have no reason to there's no reason for me to think they couldn't beat Ole Miss getting in. Same way where I'll say Texas getting in, they have a good shot at beating Illinois. This is one of those things where San Diego State or North Carolina, Texas or Xavier, you could flip those seeds from 11-6 for them, and it's the same kind of matchup here. Yeah. It's the same kind of matchup, and I know we're probably going by the name recognition of it all, but the Midwest region, I'm telling you, by the end of the weekend, you're going to have people throwing their brackets out, and it's going to be because of the Midwest region.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it.
Xavier on that.
Yeah.
They got Texas and Xavier, and it's like,
And it's the same thing because with North Carolina was out, but San Diego State was in, and Texas was out, but Xavier was in. So on both sides of this, you have a team that was out playing a team that was in on Joe Lunardi's bracketology list. But again, I'm looking at this now. I'm trying to find a spot where a 1 or a 2 could be in some trouble. I'm not really seeing it unless we're talking about Tennessee versus Kentucky in the Midwest region in the second round, or excuse me, like once you get out of the second round. But I don't see a 2 or a 3 not being able to make the Sweet 16.
Make it past that first weekend.
Yeah, they should all get out of the first weekend. And anybody that doesn't, then you're going to have the committee again question themselves about how high they're ranking teams. And actually, I'll say this. No. Actually, St. John's is going to be on upset alert. St. John's is on upset alert.
Kansas, they do get Kansas.
Yeah.
Well, assuming Kansas beats Arkansas.
Yep.
I don't know what happened to Kansas this year. Did they get injured? Because they started off high. I remember early in the season they beat both Duke and Carolina.
They just hit a bad patch in the middle of the season, and they couldn't recover from it.
Shoot, at one point I was looking up and they wasn't even ranked, and I'm like, damn, well, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, they fell off. Now I will say this, but talking about how the Midwest could wreck people's brackets with that first weekend, I think the West region here, and I had to go back and look at it again. I think the West region here is where your 1 and 2 is going to have some problems. St. John's and possibly Kansas will be a tough matchup. And I think Florida, if they get UConn, that'll be a tough matchup. Yep.
You might see both of them go down.
So I think the Midwest has the bracket buster.
Got that one is. It's a minefield over there.
Yeah, and I think the West has the biggest possibility of a 1 or a 2 not making it out of the first weekend.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, so
that's such a layup, yo.
Yeah, I can't believe they did y'all like that, man. And here it is, the last 4 in ended up being Texas, Xavier, San Diego State, and North Carolina. And the first 4 out were West Virginia, Indiana, Ohio State, and Boise State. Joe Lunardi actually had Indiana and West Virginia in. So those were the two that were in that did not make it, and North Carolina and Texas got in. And I know they're probably talking about it right now, and I'll listen to it like when we go off the air. But yeah, this is going to be another good one. I'd say right now, as much as it's like putting a pit in my stomach, I'd say right now Duke's got to be the favorite to win this thing, man. God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You smiling too big right now, man. That's why I hate this time of year. Oh, and on a related topic, you heard us go over all of the teams that are in. No Big Five team is in. None. No Big Five team is in this year. In fact, Villanova dismissed head coach Kyle Neptune. This guy was in over his head, man. You could just see in late stretches of the game when he needed to get control of things and just keep everybody even keel. They lost games they had in the bag. I counted off at least 6 where Villanova's win expectancy was above 55% in the second half that they lost. And a couple of those games, they lost with a lead with under 3 minutes left to go in the game. Like, you got to go. You definitely got to go. It wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work.
You're not meeting the standard, buddy.
and I know.
It's tough. It's a tough act to follow, though. But
I know that man left some big shoes to fill, especially when you're talking about a head coach that won 2 national championships. I get it. And maybe the expectation isn't that you're that, but you can't lose in spectacular fashion down the stretch, especially when these games become more important, because you have to win to go to the tournament. You have to be working on your resume, and no, you're losing games that you should have been winning, and all Philly teams are sitting home out of the tournament this year, and I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, I honestly think that we sacrificed all of the teams in this city for an Eagles championship.
So that was y'all deal with the devil.
Look at it, man. Look at what's happening with the Sixers. Although, but look, the Flyers are bad. The Big Five was bad this year. Now you just got to keep your fingers crossed and hope that this don't affect the Phillies, because the regular season starts in about a week and a half.
Right. You know what else? We ended up giving up the UFL team. We don't even have a team.
Yeah. Yep. And no filling up your stars no more. Yep.
We're a foundational team as far as that league goes.
Yeah. I don't know how
they first team? They was the first team, wasn't they?
No, they were among the first teams.
The first teams.
In the original USFL. In fact, like the Stars in the original USFL, they played in all 3 USFL championship games.
Right.
So the original league that ran from 83, 84, 85, the Stars played in all 3 of those games, and they won the second 2.
Right.
These dudes lost to Bobby Hebert, man. Hey, Bobby Hebert was a championship quarterback on any level in football. Like,
listen, I don't even know what that is, but
that's my point. That is my point. But look, outside of that, just real quick, and I know that it's really brief, and we're not really like going through it because the tournament is the big thing. Do want to get some of these free agency moves in the NFL that went down. The Eagles, again, just it happens this way. Unfortunately, you're going to lose players after you win the championship. Josh Sweat is gone. He's with the Cardinals. Milton Williams is now with the Patriots. Darius Slay is going to sign with the Steelers after the Eagles let him go. Cooper Kupp to the Seahawks. Devontae Adams to the Rams. Sedell, your Panthers and the Cowboys flip running backs. Miles Sanders is headed to Dallas. Rico Dowdle is headed down to Carolina. I got to admit, it's a better move for you guys to sign Dowdle than it was for Dallas to sign Miles Sanders.
We pleased them.
Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa is on the Bills now. DeAndre Hopkins signs with the Ravens. Charvarius Ward to the Colts. Sam Darnold to the Seahawks. And Justin Fields to the Jets.
What are we missing? Oh, speaking of, hold up, the boy Williams, man. How you gonna come to the Panthers and have everything but his signature on the paper? And then
how did that happen? Because I remember the original report that came out said that he was going to Carolina, and then like 3 minutes later, he's with the. How did
just like
how did y'all let him leave?
See, I don't know. His agent was there, and he was like, "Hold up, bro! Don't sign that just yet." What Patriots? Y'all? What? How much? Oh, all right. Sorry, fellas. Pack this up. We out of here. We going to New England.
Oh my goodness. I mean, here's the thing.
Speaking of, they signed somebody else too. I think the boy Landry from Tennessee.
Who did?
The Patriots. I don't know if you mentioned that in your rundown.
No, I just went with a lot of the bigger moves because I knew that we were gonna really be talking about the college basketball thing.
Right.
There were obviously some trades that went down to DK Metcalf from Seattle.
We could jump into that as a whole episode. We want to do it now?
No. Because I mean, we definitely are going to have a lot more things to talk about as we get closer to the draft because there's going to be more moves coming along. But I didn't want to not mention some of these big moves that happened. And I think once we get to the space of actually going in, we'll definitely detail it and decide whether these were good moves, bad moves, or we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just wondering if you were ready to jump in on another.
No. I just wanted to briefly run down some of the big moves that happened since we last.
Well, how about well, we could continue to talk about it. We could continue to discuss it since we on still.
All right.
How about Miles? How about him basically finessing his way to becoming the highest paid non-quarterback player by suggesting that he wanted to trade? Really, it was just a ploy, it seems, to get that bag. It really seems that he don't care as much about winning as he let.
And you know what? And that's the thing. Now I was going further down to that. But since you brought that up, I'll jump back to the trades and just talk about the couple of re-signings that I had. Khalil Mack re-signed with the Chargers. Chase Young re-signed with the Saints. The Eagles fortunately kept somebody. Zach Bond is going to be back. And then Myles Garrett. I definitely wanted to talk about the Myles Garrett thing, at least in some form or fashion. And you brought it up. He wanted to play for a winner. That's what he kept saying. I'm out of here. I don't want to be here. I want to play for a winner. I want to play for a Super Bowl. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then you re-sign with the Browns anyway? What was the point of all the shit talking then? If all you were going to do was stay there, you could have just kept your mouth shut. It's almost like the Tyreek Hill thing, how he came out and ran off at the mouth and I want to go and I'll see y'all later. And then your agent comes out and says, oh, no, he ain't mean it like that. He was just having it and then you come out with the statement, I'm committed to the Miami Dolphins.
Right, exactly.
Come on, man. Come on,
it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary to go through that sort of fake drama, you know.
and since John is not here,
and I really thought y'all was gonna be getting him because I mean y'all wasn't signing nobody. The only person y'all signed is Zach Bond. I was like, oh, the Eagles really saving up the money to go do this.
Yep.
And then
that's what it felt like. And then nope, he re-signed with the Browns.
Right.
Now, John's not here to give out dumbass of the week, so I'll do it for him. Thank you, Myles Garrett. You are officially dumbass of the week for all that shit you talked about being in Cleveland only to re-sign with Cleveland. However, I'll give him some credit. He does have a Super Bowl winning quarterback on his roster now because the Browns, being as dumb as they are when it comes to quarterback positions, they traded for Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, that's funny. And Pickett is what? I guess he's the starter, right?
He's going to be the starter. Who else are they going to start? I mean, who else is on that roster? No, Jameis is a free agent.
Oh, oh yeah, okay.
Jameis is a free agent.
Jameis is on the market. Okay.
And then the guy that was the backup quarterback is who they sent to the Eagles. Or he ended up signing with the Eagles. So I mean,
so basically a trade.
I guess Tanner McKee is the backup quarterback here now. Hey,
that's not bad. Tanner's all right.
Listen, this guy that they just got from Cleveland, Dorian something. Yeah, he's not that good. He's not that good.
No. He has coach written all over him. Future coach.
Yeah, that's about it. The other trade,
he might coach college or something, but he has future coach written all over him.
Yep, he's like Cliff Kingsbury, man. Yeah, go ahead and learn how to be a coordinator somewhere.
Yeah.
Speaking of Eagles trades, the one that didn't make any sense to me, Eagles sent CJ Gardner-Johnson to the Texans.
Oh yeah, I wanted to touch on that. Yeah, so what was that about?
I don't know. I wish I knew what that was about. I don't know. It's not like we're talking about a guy that was like 30-something years old. He's still relatively young. I mean, I assume that the team is trying to go young in the secondary. So I guess you're going to give the keys to Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and Sidney Brown.
Right.
But again, I don't understand. I don't understand this almost one of the full turnover.
Yeah. It's full turnover because y'all also don't have I think Rodgers.
Yeah, Isaiah Rodgers is gone now. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I know that this draft has a nice amount of secondary players, and the Eagles are projected to take this kid from Georgia with their first round pick. His name right now. His name is escaping me. Yeah, Malachi Starks. There you go.
Yeah.
They're projected to take Starks in the first round. So I mean, but
the Georgia thing has been working out for y'all. So
I gotta try. I don't want to because I know how things work in the city, but I gotta trust Howie. I gotta trust that he knows what he's doing. I do. He's given me reason to trust him.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at the championship roster from 2017 and then the way things moved in the years following, to knock all of that down and then rebuild it back up under a new head coach, and within 4 years of that rebuild, right? Within 4 years of that rebuild, you're in 2 Super Bowls and you win one.
Can't beat that.
I mean, listen, and I definitely want to have the conversation about, Nick Sirianni in full.
Yeah.
But the disrespect that Sirianni gets in this city is beyond me, man. I don't understand it. I don't understand what you fans are looking at. I don't understand what you want, what you expect, like what you think this guy is. I understand the national perception of him is he's a bit of a hothead, he's arrogant, he's this and that. I don't care about that. I guarantee you, if you ask what's the perception of a guy like Bill Belichick? He got a little bit of arrogance to him. He got a little bit of smugness to him. But you know what he does? He wins. Right. Here's a guy, he's been here since 2021, hasn't had a losing season, has made the playoffs every year he's been here. The 2 years that they did not lose to Tampa Bay, right? They were in the Super Bowl. So it went lose to Tampa Bay, make the Super Bowl, lose to Tampa Bay, win the Super Bowl.
So what you're saying is y'all losing to Tampa Bay in the playoffs. I don't know how.
I ain't say all that. I
don't know how though, because Tampa Bay not making the playoffs this year.
I don't understand this.
That Tampa Bay's not making the playoffs this year. God damn! I swear, I'm tired of Tampa Bay. I hate them.
Listen, man.
It's funny enough. I don't really hate my division rivalry teams as much as I should probably. Mm-hmm. But Tampa Bay is starting to stick a crawl to me. Maybe it's because they got Baker, and I really despise Baker. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's it. But man, Tampa's really pissing y'all.
But that's because in y'all division, the big rivalry has nothing to do with y'all. The biggest rivalry in y'all division is Atlanta and New Orleans. Atlanta, listen, the amount of pettiness between Atlanta and New Orleans is wild to me. And I know I may have said it before, and I'll say if anybody watching that did not know this, New Orleans is so petty in their hatred of the Falcons that there is only one entranceway to the Superdome, right?
Yeah.
There's only one way you can get to the Superdome. And as you're going down that road, they have a big painted mural, big enough to be seen, of 28-3. That scorebug from the Super Bowl when they lost to the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
It's about this damn big. You can't miss it. So that means every time the Falcons have to go to the Superdome, they have to see that mural.
They still have that there?
It's still up.
Yo, that was so long ago now.
It don't matter, man. It don't matter. I had a guy when I was in New Orleans tell me that when it was, and matter of fact, it was a few months after the Eagles had won the Super Bowl. So I was in the cab and he said, listen, he said, I'm so glad that you guys beat the Patriots because it felt good to root against Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And he's like, no, you don't understand. I put my hatred of Tom Brady to the side when they played the Falcons because the last thing I ever want to see in my lifetime is the Falcons win a damn Super Bowl. And I was just like, whoa, like, damn, this was on some Eagles Cowboys type talk. Like, I didn't expect that down there. I'm thinking the college football rivalries down there are huge. So I'm thinking LSU, Georgia. I get that. Yeah. I get that. I did not think that Saints fans hate the Falcons the way that they do. And I was with John at the damn Eagles Falcons game. Falcons fans hate the Saints just as much. Like it's just crazy to me how deep that hatred is.
Wow. So
yeah, it's real.
That's it.
Yeah, it's real.
I mean, that do make sense though.
Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does. And when you think about that college rivalry with LSU and Georgia, yeah, it kind of fits that these two teams would not, or these two cities would not like each other.
Yeah.
Just again, DK Metcalf gone from the Seahawks. He's going to the Steelers. So I'm going to assume that the Steelers are going to re-sign Russell Wilson at this point.
Probably.
The Seahawks also get rid of Geno Smith. He's going to Vegas. He's a Raider now. The Chiefs had a bunch of offensive line problems, so I don't understand why they traded Joe Thuney to the Bears. The Commanders are trying to get better. They picked up Deebo Samuel from the 49ers and offensive lineman Laramie Tunsil from the Texans. And in a couple of moves
thank
that
God my son is not going to have that that penalty machine.
Yeah, but you know
he does block pretty well when he do block.
But this is the thing now. They also traded an offensive lineman to the Eagles in the move to pick up C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So now you're down 2 offensive linemen. So they either have to hope that they can pick someone up in free agency down the line, or they're going to have to draft pretty damn well.
They're going to have to draft well. Oh, yeah. Speaking of, I forgot. Where did Becton go to?
Becton went to the Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah. Becton went to the Chargers.
That would have been a good pickup for them. Since they
I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of the discussion.
Yeah.
Like maybe a sign and trade, but with the amount of money that Becton got, I don't think the Texans would have been able to give that to him and trade somebody. And no, it wouldn't have worked out that way. Aaron Rodgers still unsigned, and the biggest what the fuck moment of this whole free agency period is, how about Kirk Cousins still being on the Falcons roster?
I mean,
because he was still on the roster after 4:00 Saturday, he got a $10 million roster bonus.
I think
so. What are you doing here? Is he sticking around? I mean, you clearly need to let Penix be the starter.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is clearly done in Atlanta. Now, I'm not sure if he's done, period, as a starting quarterback. He's damn near close enough to it. But you don't move this guy before Saturday, and you're going to pay him $10 million? $10
million backup.
All right. And this is on top of the money that he's already getting.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if he somehow was starting week 1 again.
He shouldn't be.
He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be, but I don't know, man.
And that makes me wonder, again, what are the Falcons thinking about? Like, you sign Kirk Cousins to this big deal. Okay, he's going to be your starting quarterback. And then you use a first-round pick to draft a quarterback.
Right.
And now, instead of giving him the keys, you keep Cousins on the roster and just gave him $10 more million. I
don't know, man.
All right.
They
all right.
Playing scary, I guess. I don't know.
I
guess they figured they couldn't find a better backup.
I mean, you listen, man. Sign Jameis. Sign Jameis Winston. He's clearly an okay backup, but if he's starting, you know things have gone well off the rails for your season. If Jameis Winston is starting, it's over. Like, your season is over.
So wait, somebody doesn't have a QB. Vikings, right?
No, they have a quarterback.
Who they got?
They got JJ McCarthy.
They ain't got no quarterback then.
No, listen, man, that's who they going with, man.
Oh my God.
JJ McCarthy is starting.
Okay.
Yeah, JJ McCarthy is starting. That's why they let Darnold walk. I mean, now I don't trust it. I mean, he's going to technically be a rookie.
Yeah.
And he's coming off the knee injury. So you're putting a lot of faith in this kid. Like, you must think that he's good enough if he's going into the, season as the starter.
Right. Not to mention, I mean, after the season they had last year with so much success, this is like major step back.
Well,
unless he gonna have to really be like that.
But let's put a little bit of a chip at that. Yeah, they were good early, and through about close to the midway point of the season, they fell off tremendously. They fell off tremendously to end that season. And for them to not be able to take advantage of all the injuries that Detroit had and step up and take the division from Detroit, I mean, they had a chance. They had a chance to take the division, and they blew it.
They even had a late season, the last game or next to last game to take it. So yeah, I'm with you there. But this is the thing though. Analyzing it, yes, we understand that. And from the outside, yeah, we understand that. But from the inside and from the fan base, they're going to be the ones that's upset. They're going to be like, yo, we was just 14-2 or whatever they were, 13-3. He was like, what the hell just happened here? When they end up being something like 9-8 or 8-9 next year, because that's what I'm thinking they're going to be.
Yeah, and I'll have more of an opinion on Minnesota as the off season continues because but if you're looking at as constructed right now, they could fall all the way down to the bottom of that division. They could, because
so close to the top.
I believe that Detroit is still the class of that division. Yeah. Green Bay is still going to be pretty good.
They're Green Bay.
I don't know what we're going to get from the Bears at all. Like, I really thought that the Bears were going to surprise a lot of people this last season, and they started off real good, and it took one tip pass to just crumble that whole thing.
Right.
And the way it's not even that they fell apart. It's how they lost a lot of these games. They were inventing brand new ways to lose games. But you got to figure, like, most of that was not Caleb Williams' fault.
Right.
So you got to figure that, you got to figure having your franchise quarterback should help you going forward. And it depends on what you put around this guy now. They have a lot of talent around him, but
they ain't got no line.
I'm about to say, but you have no line, and you're coming off of having one of the most incompetent head coaches of all time. So we'll see how that goes. Yep. John not here. Going to give out the awards of the week. Dumbass of the week. The Falcons for keeping Kirk Cousins on the roster and just paying him $10 million. Milton Williams for the bullshit that he said after he signed with the Patriots. New Era Cat. First of all, the designs that they put out with some of these hats were ugly, number one. But number two, the way that they did it, they kind of put the team's logo in the middle of the hat with the name spelled out behind it. So the Texas Rangers, right?
Yeah.
Spelled their hat out TEXAS. and then now you got the big logo T in the middle of it, right? So now instead of it saying Texas, right?
Yeah.
It says Titas. It says Titas, right? Titas is a Spanish word for titties. So you could be walking around with a hat that says titties on it if they didn't pull it. Right?
And they're in
the
Texas.
Astros, yes.
Which is
the Astros hat
Mexican population. Yo, that's dumb.
Yep.
That's definitely dumbass of the week.
Listen, the Astros hat looked like it said assholes. And you know, if you say assholes, it sounds like you're saying assholes. Right? The Angels hat almost looked like it said anals. Like, how did that get past marketing?
Right.
How did marketing see those and say, yeah, put those out? Like, I give New Era credit. I do. I give New Era credit. They do have some pretty damn good designs, right? They do have some damn good designs most of the time.
Yeah. Okay.
This was awful. This should have never saw the light of day at all. And it shouldn't have taken like people seeing it and then saying, yo, y'all realize that this is a Spanish word for breast.
Right.
Yeah. Those are dumbasses of the week. Sadell, your person and or people of the week. And I have a feeling I know where this is going. So just come on, man.
I got two.
Go ahead.
Number one is the committee for giving us this region. I love y'all for that, man. This is woo. Wow. Love it. Anyways,
it's gonna be a long 3 weeks, man.
And number two, give me D-Law. Give me DeMarcus Lawrence, man, for shitting on the Cowboys on his way out the door, yo.
You know what? And I didn't, I'm glad you brought it up because that was funny. Like, he basically said he knows he would never win a Super Bowl there. Like,
and worst off, he went to say that and still go to a rebuilding franchise.
Exactly.
That's a slap in the face, like
I listen, but you never get players like saying how they really feel. You never get that. And my man came out and just said straight up, yeah, I built a home there. I love it there, but I'll never win a Super Bowl there.
Right. And then the exchange between him and Micah.
Yo, and then even with Micah Parsons, and I liked his response to Micah Parsons too, because he basically said, "Yeah, well, we got guys here, more worried about doing their podcast than playing football."
Exactly. And that's low key where he was going with that, because he said Twitter, but he know what he meant.
He walked him right into that though. Like Micah Parsons walked right into another insult that he should have saw coming.
Should have.
Like, come on, man. You and another thing. I'm not gonna make this huge thing and like the arrogance of the Dallas Cowboys, right? The arrogance of that franchise, the arrogance of that fan base, like that's what I gathered from that whole exchange, even on Micah Parsons' end. Like, dude, do you understand? This is why the culture in Dallas won't change.
Exactly.
Because you are in a franchise that had a ton of success 30 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But the way that the conversation goes among ownership and the fan base, you think that they had done something in this century. All y'all do is live off of what they did over there. all you can talk about is what happened over there. You can't talk about what's happening right now, because if you talk about what's happening right now, like you're the last team in the conference to go to a conference championship game.
Right.
The Eagles and Giants have added 4 championships to the division since you last been to a conference championship game.
Right.
They've both been to multiple Super Bowls since the last time you've made a conference championship game. Your future doesn't look brighter than Washington's, and me admitting that about Washington is a gut punch because I hate Washington.
True.
But if you let Dallas people tell it, Dallas is this shining example of success in the NFL, despite not being anything worth talking about since Biggie and Pac were still alive.
Ooh. Damn. Damn. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Now, Cowboys fans, if you watching this, come at me with all that. Well, we still got 5 and y'all only got 2. Yeah, I hear you. Yes, 5 is more than 2, but the 2 is much more recent. So here's my thing. You might have been knocking the baddest chick down when you were in high school, right? You might have been. But guess what? Not her. I'm knocking the baddest John down right now. While you sitting in the crib, watching Pornhub, trying to get your rocks off because you can't get a date. You can't get a date.
Bunch of OnlyFans merchants at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to sit up here and point fingers? And I was not trying to turn this into that. I wasn't. But my agitation. But my agitation with this arrogant ass fan base, like, dog, like, stop acting like y'all doing something today. Like, my brother's a Cowboys fan, but he's one of the most realest Cowboys fans that I know. He don't talk about what happened then. We both have sons. My sons know what it feels like to see their team win a championship. My nephew has never even seen his team in a conference championship. He doesn't get to talk trash to his cousins about that.
Nope.
He don't get to say, well, we got 5. You saw none of them. Okay? None. And now my brother could say, yeah, well, I was around to see 3 of those championships. You were. You absolutely were. But let's talk about what's happening right now. Let's talk about where this team is right now. You don't want to talk about where this team is right now. You don't want to talk about the mediocrity of having 2 so-called franchise quarterbacks that couldn't get you out of the second round. Y'all want to sit up here and tell me, well, Tony Romo's a Hall of Famer. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Well, if you're going to tell me Tony Romo belongs in the Hall of Fame, don't look at me crazy when I say Donovan McNabb belongs in.
Yeah.
McNabb went to 5 conference championship games, won 1. Now, granted, that's not good, but he at least made it there, and he at least made a Super Bowl.
He was contending.
Oh, and on top of all that, for the majority of his career, he had garbage ass receivers.
Also,
can you imagine, like the first half of your career, your number 1 wide receiver is James Thrash?
Right.
James Thrash is your number 1 receiver. I'm not even going to get into wide receiver 2 or 3 and just say James Thrash was your number 1. Don't do that.
You saw that? Your boy, Mr. Championship belt, baby.
Oh my God.
Mr. Walk around Philly with his championship belt on. You already know.
Speaking
the
of
man, the myth, the legend himself.
Which one of y'all out there keep giving him like G passes to go to places where that should be reserved for legends in this city. This dude is not a legend, man. How is he everywhere, man? And then I hear Philadelphia Eagles legend. No. He is not a legend, man. He's not a legend. He a one-play wonder, dude. Man, okay, my bad. 3 plays. He made 4 plays, 4 big plays his whole career. 4. That's it. Freddie Mitchell is not an Eagles legend. All right, anyway. I can't believe you read me up. Look, I went to watch for the week. Come on, it's obvious. It's the tournament. I mean, if you're not watching the tournament, I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm gonna be sitting at work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'm gonna have my app up, watching as much as I can. And then when I come home, I'm gonna watch as much as I can because I do believe that the tournament is wide open, but I do think that Duke is the favorites coming into it. I think given the fact that they're in that much easier bracket than the other 3 number 1 seeds, I think if you guys don't at the very least make the Final Four, something's wrong.
Oh no, it's
something's seriously wrong, and I don't see any reason why Duke won't win the tournament this year. I think this will probably be the first year I fill out a bracket and have Duke as the national champions.
I mean, that sounds all lovely and great, but you gotta have some hatred for us. Don't put us as the national champions, man.
Nah, man.
No, because you trying to low key jinx us, man. You trying to low key jinx us by doing that. Don't do that.
Man, I'm being real, man.
Have us reach the Final Four and have somebody upset us.
Listen, man, I'm being real right now, man. I think they're gonna. Nope. There are going to be upsets, man. Listen, there are going to be upsets in them other brackets, man. They basically put y'all championship on a silver platter, man. They handed it to y'all. They gave it to you. Here, take this. This is yours.
I'm telling you.
Now the question.
Go ahead.
I've never come on this show and allowed my bias to go beyond a certain point, right? I never allowed to go beyond a certain point because I honestly feel that, we owe it to the people that take time to watch us to tell the truth. Regardless of how I feel about the truth. I told you guys before the basketball season started, I was good on the Sixers this year. I'm off of it. And I know that people are saying, oh, well, you should have. No, because I saw it coming. I got to tell you the truth. I have to be honest. And I'm just looking at the bracket. And like I said, they could not have made it any easier for Duke to make this run. And what solidified it for me is even losing Cooper Flagg, you guys still went out there and pretty much handled business.
Yeah.
So once he comes back from this ankle injury, I have no reason to believe that there is another team out there that's going to beat you guys now. Now, I will say this, though. I will say that if you guys don't at least make the Final Four, I am going to come on this program and I'm going to laugh my ass off. Because if there is any team that can find a way to fuck this up, it's Duke. It's Duke. Like, you know what I'm talking about, dog. Don't pretend like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I know.
You know exactly what I'm talking about because you sat and watched it.
I've had a lot of heartbreaks over the years, so I know.
So my question is,
we losing to some just Head scratches.
Who gonna CJ McCollum y'all this year? That's the question.
No.
Who is anybody gonna give y'all the CJ McCollum treatment? And I doubt it. I doubt it. Listen. I'm sorry. When we get off the air, I'm going online. I'm filling out my bracket. Yeah, I got Duke winning it all.
All right. I'm gonna roll with that. I'm gonna let you live.
All right, man.
Even though I kind of think you trying to, jinx us. But
I don't want y'all to win. Like, you know that. I don't want y'all.
I know you don't want us to win. That's why I'm like,
but I think y'all gonna win.
Yeah, I think we got, probably the most complete team when we have everybody.
Yeah.
The most, and especially the most capable team, especially considering that they threw a landmine at Auburn, giving them Louisville in Kentucky. That was crazy.
In Kentucky, yep.
And Houston, not sold on them, not this year. Florida has some interesting matchups in there. I wouldn't be surprised if. Yeah, that was weird. They got UConn possibly in the second round. They got Kansas over there who might be a wild card. St. John's.
St. John's could be in some trouble. Yeah.
I watch Maryland play. Maryland is tough. Maryland is really tough. They're the 4 seed over there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they was to make it through all the riffraff and get there for their Final Four of that bracket. I got some what to watch too. Since we talking tournament, keep an eye on the women's tournament, man. I'm interested to see if Juju Watkins can take that team and bring home the championship for USC.
Mm-hmm.
And
you know what? And that's the thing. Now I'm sitting here. My remote is all the way over there, and I don't feel like getting up to grab it. But the women's selection show is popping up soon. I think that's going to be at 8:00.
Right.
So we'll definitely be talking about that.
I don't know too much about all their teams. That's the only thing about that. I watched only. Funny enough, I watched the USC games this year. I watched like 4 of them. I watched them play UCLA both times, which UCLA was number 1. They've been number 1 most of the year over there. And Juju, man, she's a bad girl. They swept them in the season. And I seen them play. I watched them play UConn. That was a hell of a game. They was blowing them out early. UConn made a tremendous comeback, and then USC pulled that one out at the end. Right. And I watched them play some other team that I forget at the moment, but it was all just all 4 were wins. I watched them all their wins. Now the times they lost was kind of like weird. It's almost like they beat UCLA and then they had like a letdown moment because they lose shortly after. 2 of their losses have come right after beating UCLA, which is kind of weird to me. So it's like, are y'all one of those teams that if y'all beat somebody really good, y'all have a letdown moment? Yeah. But since it's tournament time, I don't expect any of that drop off. I expect them to be focused.
And you know what? I am going to look at that because I'm interested to see who their top 4 seeds are over there on the women's side and where exactly they're going to have USC, where USC is going to be seated at, who are they going to play. The last couple of years of the women's tournament has just gotten better. It's gotten better every year, like the last 4 or 5 years. So I expect this one to be just as good. I know, obviously, the big 2 names aren't there because they've gone pro, but there's still some teams that are definitely worth watching, especially South Carolina, especially USC, especially UConn. So it's going to be an interesting women's tournament. And UCLA as well.
Not bad. They just don't got it against USC. But that could be scary too, because you know how it is. When you play that team like 3-4 times out the year, they're gonna get you one of those times. They're that good.
Yep.
So And then my other thing to watch is Invincible. It's on Amazon Prime. I don't know if you know about Invincible. You watch The Boys?
No, I have not watched The Boys yet. It's on my what's the name though. I'm watching too much stuff, man. I keep listening, man. I'm watching too much stuff. and then when I get finished, it's like when I get finished watching something, there's something big going on sports wise.
Right.
So
right.
I can't even transition into the next thing fully because
playoffs,
there it is. Now we got Now granted, I'm probably not going to be as heavily invested in the NBA playoffs this year. I can honestly say that I haven't been invested in the season at all this year. And a big part of that is because of the Sixers. Another big part of that is, some of these games just have not been entertaining to me.
They've not been good to watch.
Now, I will say, I did watch Cleveland Orlando today. I did watch Orlando. Orlando stopping Cleveland's 16-game winning streak.
17 games, something like that.
Yeah. And I think that was like their second or third 15-plus game winning streak this year. Cleveland? Cleveland?
Bro, Cleveland, even though they lost, man, Cleveland, they didn't have Evan Mobley today.
Right.
But, man, Cleveland's nice like that.
I know one thing. I know Adam Silver is really like
he hoping. Really don't want it to be.
He don't want Cleveland OKC. Yep.
He really does not want that.
And me as a person who loves to see things go off the rails, I'm hoping for a Cleveland OKC finals. I'll watch that. I will watch that. And I will say this right now, and I'm on record. It is 7:35 on March the 16th, 2025. I will go on record to say if the Cavs and Thunder are the matchup in the NBA Finals, I'm watching. I'm watching every game from beginning to end.
All right, bet.
All right?
Yeah. I'm with you.
All right, well, listen, John, I don't know what happened to you this week. I'll give you a free pass. You probably in mourning because you were like all North Carolina up, and I bet you probably figured they weren't going to make the tournament, so you were going to duck the show because you definitely didn't want to hear Sedell being all happy with Duke having another year where they're a number one seed and probably the prohibitive favorite to win it all. So I get it, but we will definitely be back next week. We'll talk more about these moves in the NFL. Hopefully our brackets aren't fully in the trash by the next show, but I doubt it because the Midwest bracket is going to tear everybody up.
Yeah. If anybody listen. You know how they do the bracket, Jones? The
perfect brackets.
$1 million perfect brackets, John. If anybody has their John in perfect order at the end of the first weekend, man, I don't know, man. They Nostradamus or something.
There's always a couple that make a bunch of like weird picks, man. But yeah, I'm gonna get off of here. Gonna finally put my bracket together. Like I said, I usually do a couple. My main one, I'm picking you guys to win it all, man.
All right, appreciate that.
All right, listen, man, we catch you guys next time. Oh, one other thing before we get out of here. Believe it or not, Major League Baseball's regular season starts this week. I think the Cubs and Dodgers are in Tokyo. So their games against each other this week are official regular season games. I hate that MLB does that. I hate that they start the season like 2 weeks or a week or so before the actual season and then have these guys go right back to playing spring training games again. It's dumb. Line it up with the actual start of the regular season.
What?
Don't do that. Yeah.
I was never aware of that.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that they start the season that way. It's foolish to me.
Yeah, what? I don't know. I don't understand the point. That's crazy.
Yeah. So if you want to wake up in the middle of the night and watch Major League Baseball, the season starts, I think, officially on Tuesday. Like Tuesday, first thing in the morning from Tokyo. I mean, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not getting up first. Well, I gotta wake up first thing in the morning anyway, but I'm waking up in the morning to go to work. I'm really not worrying about these quote unquote regular season games. And hold on, 6:10 a.m. Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a regular season game.
Nah.
All right, we'll catch you guys next week.
All right.
All right, man.